Well, thank you for joining us. Ray Babowitz is here, who is the Director of Communications and Strategic Partnerships with Community Health Center of the North Country. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
So we're talking about oral healthcare desert, which is an interesting way to put it, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Which is good and bad all at the same
Right.
time, obviously. It's something I certainly have a lot of passion for. We could do a whole series of shows on
Why do you
just
call it
oral
the
healthcare.
desert?
Because of the complete lack of access to oral health care, dental care in the North Country, and quite honestly, pretty much the entire rural area of America.
Yes.
We're not any different here than anywhere else.
I know one thing, when you try to make an appointment with a dentist, that you are going to be booking months out.
Oh, it's insane.
Even if you're there
Yeah.
and you're booking from there from your appointment, sometimes that even is months out.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, at Community Health Center of the North Country, the integration of care is kind of what we try to do: primary care, pediatrics, dental, behavioral health, et cetera. But even if you're under the umbrella already, unless it's an emergency situation, you could be waiting 9 months to a year
Right,
to get in.
and typically they would always say, we want to see you twice a year, every 6
Absolutely.
months.
Yep.
That's almost impossible.
Which, once you're established,
Right.
is fine.
Right.
But to get that initial new patient visit, it's extremely difficult. And a lot of people, including a lot of people in the medical community, don't really give a lot of thought to how important oral health care is to your physical health.
Which is one of the reasons I think people live longer nowadays than they did in the past.
It's
I remember
certainly
you
part
talked
of
about
it.
George Washington and his false teeth.
That's right, he had
His wooden teeth.
That's right.
But it's the same. My veterinarian tells me that about my dog. You got to keep the teeth clean. That's the root to all your
It's
health.
the gateway to your body, right? It makes all the sense in the world, and there's a lot of really bad chronic disease from cardiovascular disease to kidney disease to cancers to diabetes that all stem from bad oral health care to begin with, not necessarily physical care.
And dentists, I've noticed, have also added more of those tests.
Sure,
That
they have.
they're doing
Absolutely.
cancer screenings,
Yep.
and they're doing all sorts of things
Yep,
in
they
there
are.
with your permission. So the rural, we talked about how spaced out they are for that. What do we do about it? Like, you're telling people they need to go see the dentist. What do they do?
You know, in our rural communities, and of course specifically, you know, for this conversation in New York State, there's a lot of barriers in place in New York State to people coming in to actually practice and provide the oral
okay.
health care that's needed.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah, some of it's licensure related, you know, scope of practice related. There's just a lot of barriers that are in place to alleviating the pressure because we can't get people in here to practice when they want to. So we really need to work on some of this stuff legislatively.
So do you have dentists at Community Health Center of the North Country?
We do in our Ogdensburg and Canton locations, chcnorthcountry.org. You can pick whichever of the locations are most convenient for you and your family.
And would they have an easier time of getting in there, you think?
Of the two, you're going to get into our Ogdensburg facility probably a little
Okay.
bit quicker for sure. But again, if you have an emergency situation, please don't let that stop you from
Right.
calling and getting in there and getting
And
established.
establish yourself with a dentist, and then you
Yes.
can start rolling. I appreciate it. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you, Beth.
coming in.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, you've been with North Country Professionals.